Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Season 2 of the Rule 34 podcast. I'm your host, Jack, joined by my fellow co-host,
Dominic Castillo.
All right, Dom, how has it been? A little odd. We're recording on a Thursday, but it's been a pretty busy week, and this is a day that's finally open for us. How have you been?
I have been a little slow, I guess, mentally. At the moment, we're currently in middle of the midterm period for my classes. It hasn't been too okay per se, but we're hanging in there, right? At this moment in recording, I'm already finished with 2 midterms. However, I still have one more midterm left to go. That's due tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. It's nothing too bad, but it's like one of those like super strict formal essays that like you have to get everything perfect from even down to the name of the PDF file, just so that you don't get a reduced point, right? So,
wow.
Yeah, it's a short essay, just 750 words. It's nothing insane, but like the formal format for writing this essay out is like it's super strict. So I'm gonna have to take my time on this thing. But I mean, it's not that bad per se. But aside from that, there are some world news going on. Ever since the last episode we had. But aside from that, everything at home has been pretty okie dokie. Also, one more thing. I bought a 3D printer. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this thing yet, but we'll see what I'm gonna do with this thing. How about you, Jack? How have you
been? I'm doing pretty good. Been listening to a lot of good music lately. What else have I been doing? Nothing much, really. Got to see some family, hang out with family last Saturday.
Right.
Finally got to spend time with some of them, catch up with them. My brother recently got both his degrees from LACC.
Nice, man. Sounds good to hear.
Yeah, so we went and celebrated that as well. Trying to remember anything else we've done. Something was yesterday, but I don't know if he would want me to mention it on here.
I mean, you can spill it out.
Yeah, well, it involves my dad.
No, if you don't want to.
It involves my dad, and my dad is a very private man, if you want to say so.
If you don't have to, you don't have to. Man.
But I had fun with him yesterday.
Yeah,
did my best. But also other news. Donda 2, the
yes.
What would you call it? The listening party happened. We talked about it on our last episode about whether we thought it was gonna drop. It technically dropped, as in he actually did have the listening party and he played the music. But didn't, like, as we predicted, didn't drop anywhere on Apple or Spotify or YouTube, It was it wasn't even readily available on the stem player. They actually had to wait a bit for the files to be uploaded so that people can have it on their stem player.
Right.
And then all the memes that came out, of course, whoever were the sound engineers during that listening party were pretty bad at the end.
Oh, yeah, they all got clowned on, I think.
Yeah. So what happened was, the quality just kind of sounded terrible. Like the mixing, the mic quality, like when they tried to rap with it, like you could tell their voice was off. Like, like the volumes between the the music and like Kanye and Playboy Cardi themselves, like when they were trying to rap, like the audio was just terrible. Right. And you even see at one point Kanye gets frustrated and just throws the mic down because they couldn't get the mixing right. And it's funny because the listening party ends and they're like showing like basically like end credits, and they show all the producers, and someone was like, "Dang, they just put out a hit list because of how like terrible it sounded." Everyone was just clowning on them, and it was so funny because one of the guys, all he does is post like a tweet or like on his story and just says, "I'm letting y'all know right now, it wasn't my fault."
Jeez, man.
But yeah,
That's tough.
things didn't go as planned. Things didn't go as planned for Kanye, and I mean, I don't know. We obviously can't give that big of a review because, as I was saying, Domino and Dom knows too, it's like it's kind of hard to review something that you don't have readily available. And plus, from what we heard at that listening party, it's kind of similar to the first Donda, where everything's not finished. You know, things still kind of sound rough, and they kind of sound like the first drafts of these songs. So I don't think it's really time to do a review for it, you know, because of the fact that it's not on streaming services or even really YouTube, because all the versions that people put keep getting taken down. You know, so it's not readily available for us to sit there and listen through each song and figure out, you know, what we like, what we don't like, and then plus it's not a finished product yet, you know.
Right.
And I mean, who knows? Maybe it is the finished product, but I don't know. It seems like people are kind of expecting Kanye to like do more versions and listening parties for it, you know, until he has his finalized version. But who knows? Maybe this was his finalized version, but it didn't sound that complete to me.
Interesting. What do you say that?
I don't know. There was like there was points where maybe the audio, or maybe it was the audio and thing, but like some people even mentioned themselves, like a lot of the songs were short. They didn't have like finished verses, you know. Like there was some points where Kanye himself was just kind of like mumbling through the songs, and it was like, okay, you can kind of tell that things aren't necessarily finished. It's kind of just like a preview, because some songs were finished, you know. Like the song with Migos was a really good one, and it had like it sounded complete. But then there was his songs with like I think the most notable one was Broken Road with Don Toliver. It sounded really good, but I don't think it was finished because it was only like a minute and 30. And
that's it?
Yeah, so it's like people are kind of like speculating, you know, again, adding to our speculations on the album. It's like people don't think it's necessarily finished yet, you know. It was kind of just like his first Donda listening party where he gave the preview and then was like, no, hold up. There's still things that need to be mixed properly and done properly, you know, because Kanye's pretty much a perfectionist.
Right. Interesting. I think what might happen later on is that I think he's just gonna finish the album, like make it perfect, right? I don't think he would just throw out an unfinished album, especially if it's like, you know, a special deal to him.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm not sure, because you know, Kanye West being like, you know, trying to be a revolutionary with like his type of music, maybe he's just gonna leave out an unfinished album, but he's gonna leave it to the crowd to finish it up for him, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like for the crowd to make up their own remixes, maybe their own vocals, which sounds stupid now that I think about it, but I don't know.
Hey, I wouldn't put it past Kanye to do something like that, you know?
I mean, I just hope he does throw out the rest of the album, or at least, you know, perfects it. But if what we're given is just everything that was based off the listening party, I'm not sure if people are going to be like, you know, wowed. Especially considering the fact that the amount of time it's taken for the first Donda to come out, and then the second Donda to come out, you know, just a short time afterwards. I feel like people are not going to be satisfied with what they were given. Personally speaking, I have not heard the listening party, only because I was probably working at the time, and I just kind of forgot about it afterwards, admittedly. After today, I'm definitely giving it some time to listen to. Do you know if anyone has like files of the song anywhere, by any chance?
Not that I.
Or like, is it on YouTube, like some hidden link?
You can maybe check YouTube. I know the listening party, like the actual one, is still up.
Right.
Because it was a live stream that did, so it should still be up. But I I don't know. Everything I've seen, it's like they're doing like a really good job apparently of like taking down all these different like, local files that people try and do.
Damn. All right. Well,
Which,
I'm gonna have to go on some fishy links, see what happens. But
which I mean,
hopefully it does finish it.
yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about this in the last episode about how it could kind of be expected for piracy to happen if your only way of listening to it is going to be on a $200, device.
True.
That's not accessible to the general public, and so they're gonna find their own ways to listen to the music, even if it's through illegal means for some of these people.
Yeah. Do you think it might ever finish up on some sort of streaming website or streaming platform, or or do you think it's just gonna be explicitly on that stem player for the rest of the time?
I hope it comes out on streaming platforms, but again, knowing Kanye, this man's, it's not petty, but he's how would you say, like, he's committed in a sense. I feel like he's gonna stay committed to his word that he's not gonna put it on Apple Music or Spotify.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know. Based on like our speculations, it also doesn't seem like he's gonna like try and advocate for higher pay on those sites.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't said anything. All he just said was he wasn't gonna put it on there because they don't pay artists enough. But he's not out here saying, "Oh, Apple, Spotify, if you want my album, raise up your pay." So I don't know. We gotta see what happens with Kanye. I mean, he's still in a load of controversy still with in the general public's eye.
True. Damn. I mean, I just hope everything goes fine for the time being. Are there any other news going on? We have the situation going down in Russia against Ukraine. That's something.
Yeah, that's something crazy going on. I'm praying for the people on both sides because, how would you say? I mean, obviously there's, bad people everywhere, good people everywhere, but like the innocent people of both Russia and Ukraine shouldn't have to suffer because of their leaders' disputes,
Right, yeah.
And so you kind of feel bad, because especially like, you see people from both sides, just saying they don't want to do this, and who knows, maybe like I guess it's because we're from the U.S. and we're so conditioned to things being done so often for propaganda and the media. But if it really is true, I gotta give props to the Ukrainian I think president or whatever it is, like the position is for them. I don't know if you've seen, but like he's on like the front lines or like somewhat on the battlefield, basically with his people,
Yeah, I've seen videos. Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, props to him for actually being there and not being the world leader that just throws in his innocent people and doesn't do anything himself.
Cool.
Because that's one thing people have brought up. It's like it's like. And it's one thing I bring up too, it's like whenever a war happens, it's like the dispute is between the world leaders, and yet never are the world leaders ever involved, and then they send out their pawns, the innocent people of their country to do their bidding,
Yeah.
And we kind of just have to accept it that, we are the ones that have to fight their battles for them, even though they're the ones that have the disputes,
Yeah, true.
Which is why I agree with, all the memes, screw war. Just if the world leaders have a dispute, throw them in a boxing ring.
Yeah, I would pay to watch something like that. I don't think that all world leaders would like go up front in the battle, but I mean, seeing the president of Ukraine actually doing, staying literally alongside with his people, it's the good option. It's the well-played option. But I think what's also worse is for each individual citizen, not only for Ukraine, but also for the innocent Russian people who don't even want war in the first place. But they're still getting a bad, chunk of the pie, if that makes sense. Because in the economy side of things, the rubles of Russia it's like going through the roof. So basically, we're gonna be reaching a like hyperinflation type beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Because yeah, my bad. But people are like knowing that the economy is gonna probably get crushed down. They're trying to convert their money into U.S. dollars. But before, I think rubles used to be like 60 or like 80 rubles for $1, and now it's just skyrocket up to like 156 rubles. So like the hyperinflation might be pretty much reaching soon. And I think since Putin's U.S. money was frozen, right, by Biden, which only leads for the basically all the foreign money that they have to be useless, which means that they're only just left off with their own ruble money, which means that anybody who's working from Russia, the innocent people who don't want to war and just simply getting their money off from foreign territories, are what was it? Their money, they basically can't get any more money from the U.S. or from any other country. Which and I think was also worse for those guys is that I think from this point on, I think there was like a treaty back in what was it? I think the 28th of February or May 1st. No, May 1st, March 1st. They have to convert all their money from the outside. Like if it's like let's say the U.S. right, and I remember how I told you like $1 is like 158 rubles. They have to convert like 80% of all the money they make into rubles. So that's like saying, like let's say Jack, if you were to get let's say $500, right, or like let's say $1,000 for your monthly income, you would have to throw like $800 of all that money into like let's say Bitcoin. And now, if you think about it, Bitcoin's is fluctuating all the time. It's going up and down, up and down. I think that's like the situation everybody in Russia, if they gain like money, from the outside, is. I think that's the situation they're going to be going into, considering that they have to throw all their money into a currency that's constantly fluctuating and might even eventually break down at some point. So, I think everyone. But I think it's even worse for the people of Ukraine, of course, because they're literally getting bombed and shot down, which is worse, which is even worse.
Yeah, things are getting pretty hectic over there, and you just gotta, hope for the best for the people over there, man. Pretty hectic lives they're having, this is literally another, like, historical event, This is probably something you're gonna maybe see in the textbooks and stuff.
Yeah, man, it's only getting worse. I think, not to say that it is good, but what's also good, technically, is that the majority of the citizens are being given, like... Oop, my bad. The majority of the citizens are leaving and stuff like that. However, they can't leave the country. I think there was also what was it? Like another order that like people from like 18 to like 60 years old cannot leave, which does suck. But I think there's like military training given to all the people who are trying to fight, so I think that's a good thing. And they're even giving arms and and weapons, so that they can defend themselves, not just be left out. But man, yeah, none of this at all should be happening.
You just gotta hope for the best for them, man.
Yeah.
But, hope for the best, hoping that all the innocent people on both sides are going to be taken care of and are staying safe, Hoping for the best for them. With about 25 minutes left, I guess we'll move on to lighter things and move on to our topic of the day.
Yes.
So we're continuing 2 series. We have another tier list for y'all, and we're also continuing explaining wrestling to Dom. As the listeners know, Dom is not a wrestling fan, and so with 25 minutes left, we'll kind of get started here. I am going to have Dominic do a tier list of various wrestling titles, wrestling championships. The main belts that people fight for. Many of them are, world titles because they've been defended around the globe, That's kind of like the logistics to it. And I kind of just wanted to get, a non-wrestling fan's opinion on these various belts. And so what I've done is I've come up with a slideshow where the belts are, shown in different positions. Typically, so I got like a photo maybe of it around a wrestler's waist, over their arms, and then maybe them posing with it to get Dom a different view. And then I have a big image of what the belts look like so we can kind of look more in detail.
Right.
But so we're going to start off here. Wait, hold up. Sorry. And Dom is going to be doing this live, but since we only have like a short amount of time, we kind of rambled on a bit. Gotta go pretty quick, all right, Dom?
Yeah.
All right. So like I said, compiled a list. Starting off, Dom. So this one's a bit of a troll. Again, it sucks that people don't have we don't have a visuals for this, but the 24/7 championship. This one's a bit of a troll, Dom. This belt is basically just a gimmick belt, if you want to say. It's like I could like it's a belt that doesn't need to be there.
Right.
Like, so how would you rank this thing?
Well, it looks. I'm not sure how to explain it. It just says 24/7, and this is champion written beneath it, following the with like a green pattern, gold with green pattern. Honestly, it just looks just not good. But I mean, I'm not sure how to explain it. It looks so basic. The 24/7. I mean, if anybody were to be reigning this sort of belt, they would not look like they'd be proud of it. Honestly, I mean, I think I'd put this on either C or F. I mean, the gold and the green doesn't look too bad, but it's just the 24/7 that just makes it a joke of itself. So I'd probably give it an F.
Very empty too, right?
Yeah, it's just so empty, just 24/7.
And the reason I started laughing at the beginning for the audience at home, for the wrestling fans, I put an image. I put the image of when Drake Maverick was wearing it around his waist and nothing else, so he was basically naked. But I just wanted to get your opinion on this one because this is regarded as one of the worst belts in wrestling. But we move on. The current WWE Championship.
Interesting. This is with the black in the background, the red. Yeah. This is red stripe on the bit.
The current one. For the listeners, I have Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre displaying the belt. This is the world title or one of the world titles for the WWE currently, Dom. What are your opinions on it?
It looks nice. Honestly, I do like that studded diamonds on the outer ring of the belt. Mm-hmm. It looks nice. I like it. I think are those like meant to be like studded diamonds on the W as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks nice. I like it. The black background, the red stripe, it complements each other. The black and the gold, along with the studded diamond look of the W's, it doesn't look too shabby. I'd give this like probably an S, only because of an A or an S. I'll probably give it an S there, only because it looks clean in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll let you know the one complaint people have, and as you'll see as I show you the later belts, is that it's just the logo of the company, Like, that's the only complaint, is just because it's the big logo, and as you'll see with the later belts I show you, you'll see why it's an issue. But, yeah, I think this one looks pretty good for what it is, so you say you give it an S?
Yeah, I give it an S. I give it an S, yeah.
All right. And another thing, too, is people, because this ties into the next championship, people also think it's a downgrade just because of what the previous titles used to look like, which going into the WWF Championship, the same lineage as the previous one, but this one was from the Attitude Era, basically the 90s. And
interesting.
So this one is known as the Big Eagle because, as you can see, it has the Big Eagle design, the globe. I have Stone Cold, The Rock, and Kurt Angle displaying the belt. What are your thoughts on the belt?
Honestly, it looks nice. I like it. Only because it looks unique. I definitely like the font of the word champion on the bottom of the belt. It's like a classic, like what, 60s, 70s, 80s type font. The eagle doesn't look too visible. I mean, I guess just because of the picture alone. But I like the eagle overtowering, like overseeing the globe with the World Wrestling Entertainment logo. Words. It looks nice. And you also see the logo above as well. I'd give this an S tier only because it looks clean, it looks nice, and I like it.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, it's definitely a highly regarded belt. And I forgot to mention this, Dom. Another question to kind of just take into account as you're reviewing them is, I guess like how would you feel? Like obviously, I'm showing you how the different wrestlers look with it, but like, would you? I guess like, would you think it is a champion, or like a championship like that you would see people fighting for, because that's another thing people say is like, or wrestling fans, it's like sometimes the belt don't really look like, something that someone would fight over,
Oh, right.
Because, a lot of the belts do look prestigious,
Right.
But so far, I don't think that's been an issue with the two world championships I've shown you. They look very prestigious,
Yeah.
All right. And then next, same thing, WWF Championship, but this was from the older days. This was from like the 80s. It's the Winged Eagle belt as they know it, as you can see. Again, eagle in the front. This time the globe is in behind them. Kind of all gold setup with just the blue globe to give it a hint of highlight.
Yeah.
A bit smaller than the previous two.
Yeah. This one does look like it's a bit, I don't know, it feels like it's a bit too much to the eye. It does follow the black and gold, which I like personally, but I think I just see, what is that, world on the belt. It just says world, and I see world, and I see a couple bit more words on the like in the middle of the belt.
Yeah, the middle says heavyweight.
Oh, heavy. Oh, okay. Personally, I kind of like it. I don't like that it's just too much gold. But also following on your question of like whether it looks good, it would look good on a wrestler, and if it would be worth fighting for it. Honestly, I'm not too sure about it. It feels like it's just too much, and like if you were to like be up close, it would look fine, but from far away, you wouldn't really notice all the fine details of it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to make out because of its uniformity and all that gold.
Yeah.
But so, what would you rank it?
Yeah. I'd give it an A. I like the colors, but I mean, it would only look good if up close.
All right.
And if we're to be like fighting for it, I mean, I guess.
All right, and then the next four, the explanation I'm going to give you is that WWE has two different brands, Raw and SmackDown, and so each have their championship, and they each kind of have colors associated with them. Raw is red, SmackDown is blue, and this is a big problem for people because as you'll see what the belts look like when Raw introduced the Universal Championship, which is the next one, it was red because it was on the red brand. And as you can also see, as I brought up earlier, it is the same design as the WWE Championship, just red, and also a little less diamonds, if you want to say.
Yeah, I see it.
What are your thoughts on this?
Okay, so on the first one with the for the first Raw belt, there's the red background, but also the red lining of the background for the belt. It looks nice. I like it. There's a black stripe. There's a W, the same W with the studded diamond look. Honestly, I like it only because it's just a bit of an inverse from the first belt we were looking at. But this one just, I don't know. It just seems basic to me. I'm not sure if it's you. Maybe it's me. It looks nice. It will look nice to wear. But to fight for, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, a lot of people have an issue because of the whole branding thing. Like I said, not only is it just the logo, but then the color based off of what brand it is on.
Yeah, that too. You do have a point there. There's not much, I guess, creativity in my view. It's just it's like how you say, it's just the logo with just different colors. For this specific first belt, I will give it a B, only because it looks nice, but it's just basic. And to fight for, I'm not too sure.
Yeah. All right. So that one's a B,
yeah.
and then the next one, when it was on SmackDown, the Universal Championship turned blue.
Interesting.
Basically, same championship, but it's blue, and also I think it has a bit more gold to it if you look at the two. You know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could see it now. There's definitely more blue on the I guess the outer ring. It looks a bit more thicker, as well as the stripe, the gold lining on the red stripe by the second W on the bottom. It's more clear with the blue background. The blue background, I think it's nice. It definitely distinguishes the gold and the stripe on the red stripe. So, and as we know, blue and gold does definitely like complement each other. So, for this one, I'll give it an A only because the gold definitely stands out more than compared to the red one, the red raw.
Yeah, I think in my personal opinion, I think the blue looks a bit better than the red. So, especially for this championship, so I definitely would probably similarly have it ranked higher than the red one. All right. So that one's an A for you. Wait, you say A or B?
A.
Oh. Then the next one, this is the Women's Championship for Raw. And these two are actually separate. They're not the same like the Universal. So there's the Raw Women's Championship and the SmackDown Women's Championship. Raw, similarly, same WWE logo, this time with a white strap to symbolize, kind of like for the women. They usually typically always have like a white strap for their belts. Red because it's on Raw. What are your thoughts?
It's essentially the same. But I think for me, the white and gold, I think the white background for the belt, I feel like that would feel like more prestigious. The white and gold together, compared to like the colored backgrounds that will follow the red and blue from the Raw and the SmackDown respectively, it looks nice. I like it. To fight for it, I mean, it doesn't look too bad. The white and the gold, the red in the middle kind of is a bit because the red stripe, this time the red stripe does follow the red background, and the red stripe by the second W is a bit brighter, so it doesn't look, I guess, as appealing as compared to the next belt for SmackDown. But I'll give this. It's between a B and an A, but I think I'll just give this like a. I think I'll just give it a B only because the red stripe, it's just kind of blended in with the red background by the logo. So, right. But I mean, the white belt does look nice. I'm not gonna lie. The white and the gold with the studded diamonds or the studded, I guess, diamonds look nice. Personally speaking,
the white strap will definitely come into play later. If my listeners who are wrestling fans know, they will probably know what belt I'm going to show you. But next is the SmackDown Women's, and obviously, I have probably a bias because I prefer the color blue. Blue is one of my favorite colors, but I think the next one kind of looks nicer with the white and gold, as you'll see, as we saw with the Universal Championship when it was blue as well. The SmackDown Women's Championship. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so this one, although similar to the Raw belt, this one does look kind of nice only because the blue and the red. The red is not like blended into any color; it's just within the blue. But with the white belt, this one definitely takes it high. Only difference being that there is no red stripe to be like hidden behind. If that makes sense. I like this one, along with the white belt, along with the gold lining, along with the studded diamonds. I like this one. I'm gonna put this one on A.
All right. The next one, the WWE Intercontinental Championship, when it had the white strap. So I mentioned to you, the white strap comes into play again. What are your thoughts on this belt?
Okay, so seeing this one, there's the gold lining. There's like, but it looks like an old plated gold. It's not like the shiny gold that we see in the previous one. This one looks like it's like being hit with like what are they called? Smiths? Like what are they
Oh,
called?
the blacksmiths.
Yeah, like, I feel like it was like forged like by a blacksmith or something like that. It looks nice. It looks dirty, but a good dirty. If that makes sense. It's like a how would I say this? Like proper, like formal, like the old school gold. I could definitely see the earth, the globe, the blue gold, not the blue gold, just the blue earth by the golden what are the golden countries. It looks nice. I'm not gonna lie. The white in the background for the belt itself looks also even better. Although I do not imagine how it would look like black if it was black instead.
Sorry for the odd kind of interruption there on the audio. Had to pause real quick, but you were saying, Dom?
Yeah, so the gold background definitely complements the gold. White and gold really looks nice on it. But yeah, to fight for it, it definitely looks nice. I kind of wish though that there was more things popping out per se, because the word what is that, continental, world continental on the top. I can't read it that well from here, but
intercontinental.
I wish it popped out more, in like a bigger font, or maybe they would like physically raise like the height of the words. But aside from it, it definitely will like something to fight for.
What rating would you give it?
I will give it an S tier, only because it looks nice.
All right. Our next championship, the old NXT belt with the big X. What are your thoughts on this? Oh, and to kind of explain, so NXT is like a developmental brand for WWE's main roster. The main roster is Raw and SmackDown. NXT, if you want to consider, is like the minor leagues where their people develop before they go up to the main league, And so this was the world title for that developmental league, the old one, because it got a redesign later on. But what are your thoughts on this belt?
This one, I'll be honest, it looks simple. There's the black background, the black outline with the gold of just the small two letters of N and T, and then there's the X, the big X. To fight for it, I feel like I don't know. I honestly would not like to fight for this specific belt. That might be controversial to some viewers. Well, I'll be honest. In my personal viewpoint of this, it's just the three letters and just a large X. If it's without context, people probably wouldn't think it looks nice. I obviously don't know all the details and like the way and the reason why it was assigned the way it is. But I would just give this a C tier, only because it just I don't know, it doesn't look nice in my opinion. Right. And to wear as well, it I don't know.
I think like you were kind of right in controversial. I again, this is all about you, the non-wrestling fan, but I think that's also another thing people, or like the reason we do this series, get an outsider perspective, so I think Dom may be right. Certain listeners might think that that opinion is controversial, but that's to be seen, as we'll see later on. But the next championship, NXT Championship, but the new one. This was its redesign in 2017, I believe it was redesigned.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this version of it?
Yeah. Okay, so this time, it does again follow the same N and X and the T. However, the N and the T are now like just closely nearby the X and not overlapping it. So now you can see the X overtowering all the two letters. However, this time, now there's like a bit of a background also going on. So we now see the X, the WW logo above, and as well as like other golden bits in the background. So that definitely does look nice. I'll be honest. And if I'm not incorrect, I think there's also the W logo on the left and the right side, if I'm not incorrect. Yeah, so that definitely gives it a bit more, I guess, appeal to it. There's also like some O letter rings. There's like 12 of them. 6 like on the diagonal top left, and the top right and the bottom left and bottom right, so that doesn't look too bad. What does that say on the bottom? Oh, champion, right?
Yeah.
NXT, yeah, okay, so that definitely does give it a bit more, I guess, like a good look. It definitely gives it a good look this time. For this one, since it's definitely a bit of a better look, good looking belt, I would definitely give it a B. To fight for, and if it will look good on a fighter, or a wrestler, it doesn't. I mean, I definitely would look. I guess it will look good to fight for. I'm not too sure, but honestly, I mean, if it was like some sort of championship that was really, how I would say, if it really meant fighting for this, I think it would definitely be a good fight.
All right, what would your rating of it be?
I give it a B tier.
All right, and the next one is the NXT Women's Championship, and people kind of like how NXT did this because, as you saw with Raw and SmackDown as well, they were kind of the same belts. NXT kind of did the same where, instead of a white strap, they kind of gave it its own look to show the difference between the two, but also kind of showing that the two belts are the same to kind of show, the men and women are on the same level, if you want to say. But here it is, the NXT Women's Championship. The main difference, to describe it for the listeners, is that the NXT part is now silver, or kind of like a whitish color, actually, more so not silver, to kind of give it that distinct look. And the background also kind of... Oh, no, the background is still similarly the same, but what are your thoughts on this belt, Dom?
Okay, so this one does look... I mean, it's practically the same belt, just the difference within the color. But, I mean, now looking back to the first NXT... the second NXT belt that we looked at before, the way that the different colors naturally pop out compared to the NXT from the second belt, like, blends in with the rest of the gold, I think this one looks better, in my opinion. I like this one. Only because you could read out NXT from far away compared to the second one, which is just blended in with all the other gold bits and stuff. To fight for, this one it looks more serious. I don't know about you, but for me, it looks more like with the black background, the gold bits around, and the gold center. I mean the silver centered colors of the letters. It looks nice. It looks nicer. I think for this one, I'm gonna rate it an A. It definitely looks nice.
All right, and I will tell you this as a wrestling fan, both NXT and NXT Women's Championships have seen, some of the best matches when it's defended, But I think my edge, as you mentioned, thinking like it would see more, or like you just think it looks better and stuff. This is a personal favorite of mine. I actually was considering maybe buying it, like, because they sell replicas on the shop. So I was thinking of getting this one, just because I've enjoyed a ton of the matches from this belt's lineage and all the matches it's seen under it. Specifically, the three champions I have shown here for the listeners displaying to Dom. It's Kairi Sane, Io Shirai, and Rhea Ripley. Io Shirai definitely, in my opinion, had one of the best reigns with this belt, Dom. So I definitely would rate it probably similarly or maybe even higher. But as I'll show you different belt designs as well, maybe that's another thing is when you see some of these other belts, you'll probably maybe how some people will reconsider their rankings,
Yeah.
But so with 30 seconds here, we're gonna close out. Thankfully and luckily today, Dom and I have enough time to continue into a part 2. So we'll end right here. Thank you for joining for this episode. Tune into the next episode where we finish up the rest of the belts that I have for Dom. And because it's a whole new episode, he'll have more time if he wants to go into detail.
Yes, sir.